Well, I'm Claudia. I'm with CineVino here in Austin, Texas for the South by Southwest Festival. And I'm with John Rosario, who was the cinematographer for A Lot of Nothing. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, why you're here? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's my first time at South by Southwest, first time in Austin, and really excited to be here. Really excited to see A Lot of Nothing on the big screen with my peers and just people that haven't seen the film. And I'm just thrilled to to just see it on the big screen and to
Yeah.
to meet everyone. Um, I was the cinematographer on that film, and yeah.
How did you get started in cinematography?
Well, it was actually by chance, really, because I grew up in New York. My folks were immigrated from the Dominican Republic over to New York. So I'm a first generation American, and with that, they brought a set of values with them that was very like intertwined with like very blue collar mentality, working hard, and not really involved in the arts. And so their whole philosophy on career and work was always, find a job that pays well, and that's
Mm.
it. And so I carried that with me. And after high school, I looked at a list of things and I picked out civil engineering. And I was
Mm.
like, okay, going to school for civil engineering. And here I am in in 1 year in civil engineering course, and I have a conversation with a friend of mine who's a musician, and he asks a very simple question. He goes, hey, so do you see yourself being happy with um, with the choice that you've made with being a civil engineer? Do you see a future of happiness with that? And my world just crumbled, and my foundation was everything just like crumbled, because I never thought about happiness and work and career. Like, I wasn't raised that way. It was always a career, a job is something that pays well. So to be happy with what you do, that just didn't equate to me. And I really reflected on that question, and I said, no, like, honestly, I won't be happy being a civil engineer. And he goes, well, what makes you happy? And I said, well, I like watching movies. It's something that I
Mm.
really enjoy doing. And I never really thought about a career in cinema. I didn't have access to even thinking that that was possible. And I said, yeah, so I like watching movies. And he goes, well, why don't you go to film school? And I did. I went to film school. I dropped
Okay.
out of civil engineering, and attended a school in Long Island, New York.
Hmm.
And like most people, that don't really know exactly what they want to do in film, I went in thinking I wanted to be a director. I would write things and just like focus on that aspect of it. But then I realized through doing little projects in school and through mentors that I had in school, that I realized that I had an affinity for the camera and cinematography. And so I learned early on that this is what I love. I love the idea of like of just creating images and crafting images and lighting and composition. I was really thrilled by that, and so I was lucky that I found that thing
Hmm.
in film school that I gravitated towards.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in this particular film?
So I was shooting a film in Montgomery, Alabama called Son of the South. The director was Barry Alexander Brown. He's actually an editor. He's Spike Lee's editor, longtime editor, and he uh, you know decided to direct this film. And I was shooting that film, and one of the actors on it, Lex Scott Davis, she's married to Mo McRae, the director of A Lot of Nothing, and he came over to visit her in Alabama, and she said, "Hey, you should really meet John. I think you guys would get along." And so she set up a kind of encounter between the two of us, and we went and had dinner, and we just spent the night talking about just films and philosophy and upbringing, and just a lot of like um, just deep. It's just a deep conversation, and it was really wonderful and engaging, and we kind of maintained a friendship after that meeting. We would just text each other constantly, call each other, and just talk about anything really, just photography, film, things that really make us tick. And then his film came along, and he, called me to do it. and I immediately said yes without reading the script. You know,
Really?
it's one of those things. Sometimes you say yes to the person that you're collaborating with,
Hmm.
and then because you know how great that person is, or the type of artist that person is, and so you're just inclined to work with that person no matter what,
Yeah.
and you know that whatever that story is, it's going to be, special and deep and done in the right way. And so, I immediately said yes. I was like, yeah, like if it's you, I'm in.
Wow.
And then I read the script and connected with that, and so that was a bonus for sure.
Okay. So obviously the director drew you to the script,
Yes.
but after reading the script, getting a feel for the tone, was there anything else in particular that you're like, oh, this is why I want to do the movie?
Yeah. So reading the script, I knew it was special. It's a very unique story. As you're watching it, you think you know what this story is about, but then things take a turn, and things keep taking a turn, and they just keep it just takes you for a ride. And so as I was reading the script, I was on this ride. I was like, okay, it starts in a way where it baits you in. You think you've heard the story before, you think it's predictable, but in fact it's not. It's like things happen in a very, abstract and bizarre way, and they take a wild turn, and immediately, that was just super attracting to me.
Oh, okay. So tell us a little bit about working with the director. What was it like? Why do you like him?
I think that this is one of the most fulfilling collaborations that I've had in a very long time. The great thing about Mo is that he gives you the platform to express yourself as an artist, and it's not a dictatorship; it's a collaboration. It's he expresses his intentions and what he wants to say, and then he opens the door for you to interpret that in your own special way, and contribute to the image, contribute to the project. So throughout this process, he made me feel, super involved in crafting this thing with him, not necessarily just, I'm a cinematographer shooting this for him. It was, no, I'm a cinematographer collaborating with him to craft the image, to craft the philosophy and the visual language. And it was very much a collaborative effort, and that was special. And he does this with everyone in every department. So it really felt special,
Mhm. So in terms of working on a collaborative team, how did you guys achieve, in terms of film technique, suspense through the camera?
That's a great question, because during pre-production, we really wanted to involve, philosophy in every choice that we made, in every compositional choice, and every lighting choice, and how the camera speaks subtextually, and how that can reinforce what the characters are feeling. We would look at a scene, dissect it fully, and ask ourselves questions like, who is this scene about? Who is it favoring? What do we want to say subtextually? And then we would find ways to position the camera and move the camera in ways that kind of gives you that subtext. We did a 17-minute oneer, 17 minutes, no cuts, opening the film. Very
Wow.
bold. Mo, he got a lot of pushback. There's some folks that didn't want him to do it, but he stuck with it, and I'm glad he did, because it was a very special achievement. And so 17 minutes in, no cuts. But even in that process, since there were no cuts, we needed to be deliberate on how we moved the camera and why we moved the camera. And then not just document these two actors moving within the space around the house, which is, it was a lot to just light and keep the continuity of the camera and everything. But we made choices. We said, in this specific moment, the camera should favor this person, and we shouldn't see the other person. We should just hear what they're saying, and just reflect on this one person as they receive the information from the other person. So it was really special, just making these deliberate choices on where the camera needs to be and how it needs to be, and how it needs to move, and yeah. So it's just been a really careful, deliberate, and calculated approach to the visuals, really.
Okay. And did you have your own ideas that you came to him with? Or
Yeah,
was he kind of like, oh, I want to do this? And it was like this bouncing ideas off each other?
it was absolutely a bouncing of ideas. It's incredible, really. As I reflect on that, it's a great question, because it just brings me back to those times of us making the film. And I would just get a call from Mo, just for no reason, during pre-production
Mhm.
after the day's done, and he would just give me a call, and we would just talk, and it would honestly, the call wasn't about anything in specific or particular. It wasn't anything like pressing. It was just to talk, and through these talks, we would discover new things. And he was like, I was thinking maybe we should do this, and then that would inspire me to add to that. I was like, oh, that's great. We can do this also, and do it in this way, and so it was great. It was really a beautiful collaboration because we would just bounce ideas off each other, and really improve each other's ideas.
Mhm.
I would pitch something to him, and then he would take that and make it better. And I think I did the same when he would pitch ideas, and so it was a beautiful collaboration.
Awesome. Well, obviously, as a civil engineer, initially, you kind of made this switch and jump. So you're like proving that anybody can really kind of do this. Do you have any advice for aspiring cinematographers?
Absolutely, I think that you know it's important to just keep working.
Yeah.
Frustration will come, and that's okay. Embrace that, but keep working, keep developing your skills, keep getting better. Um, be your biggest critic.
Mhm.
Never settle for an incredible image, even if you produce a beautiful image or a beautiful scene. Dissect that, see how you can improve on that, and with that you'll continue to become better at your craft. I think it's important to stay a student always. I'm always looking to improve, and I never want to hit that ceiling. I want to keep going above and beyond, and keep pushing. And yeah, so I guess to sum it all up is, just stay a student, stay hungry, keep improving on your craft.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Thank you for having me. This is
Yeah.
great.
This is John Rosario, and I am Claudia with CineVino.